Hello? Are we on? Is it okay? I just saw it go on. Hello everyone. My name is Trups LP. I am responsible for this title.
America.
Uh,
He is responsible for this. I'm not even joking.
yes. And sorry. Now I'm just laughing about it.
It's been 2 weeks. It's fine.
Oh god. Well, welcome to another episode of our Moisky Live. A little bit off date because I, like every good American, was celebrating the defeat of Lord Gobbles. And that is why we had to move it because I had to fly back from my family's house yesterday. But joining me as always, already made some noises, is Megan. Say hi, Meg.
I pressed F many times for the
Yeah.
unnecessary wanton slaughter of those poor, delicious turkeys.
Isn't it wonton?
I think it's wanton.
Not wonton, like the wonton soup?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to go with one of them, and we'll just hope I chose right. By the way,
So I'm
interesting.
enjoying this background image.
I was about to say that was drawn at my request. It is the assassin of Jeffrey Epstein. That was his name, right? Jeffrey Epstein?
That's one of them, yeah.
Okay. This is the assassin, everyone. Someone put a bolo out on him.
I just love how fucking like savage it looks. It's kind of pretty.
It's very British, I think.
It
Uh,
is.
I would say the one inaccuracy is that gun is arguably more potent than any gun we actually have in this country.
I was gonna say, isn't that gun like World War II era M1 Garand looking like motherfucker?
Yeah, and we had to give those up. The government wanted them
Yeah.
back. They took our guns. It's Oh, and hello
They took our
everyone.
gerbs.
They took our jibs. I blame the Germans for that. How dare they quit?
Well, you
Um,
know what? The Germans don't have their own jobs anymore.
Indeed. And overlay clips. I don't think I could do a stream with someone like Teal Deer. I probably would annoy him just by existing. Although he has said my name once in a video. No joke. He literally said my name.
He said my name. I,
Yeah.
I also get people to say my name, but I usually do it by donating.
A still counts.
It does.
And hello
Uh,
everyone. Hope you're all having a fantastic Saturday.
ignoramuses. What is an SMLE? Oh,
I
it's a. I mean, if you're gonna judge the fucking shape of a cartoon gun,
wait. What looks more like a what? What's an SMLE?
it's a Enfield bolt action rifle.
Oh, right. Okay. You can tell I know my stuff about guns. Those pew pew things. Yes. I know my stuff, everyone. I promise.
Anyway, like non sequitur as fuck, sure.
Carry on.
Yeah. So we got some interesting news. Um,
Where should we start?
well, what do you want? You want to start with the debate thing and then go into the
Yeah,
two
okay, fine. I didn't pull
thumbnails?
up any images of this. So we have a couple topics. The two images on the thumbnail, obviously the focal point. But there's one thing I do. Okay, so over the week, Channel 4 hosted a number of debates. The first was a climate debate. Now, Nigel Farage and Boris Johnson didn't turn up to this debate. Nigel Farage didn't turn up because he doesn't care. And Boris Johnson didn't turn up because he had no interest in being involved in the debate with devolved administrations. Because let's face it, they are beneath me. That's his view. And he's right. And yet, even though he didn't turn up, even though he had nothing to do with the debate, the only thing that was in his place, where he was meant to be stood, was an ice sculpture with his party logo on it. And he still won. Because all the others did was talk about what they've done so far. Look what we've done. Look at me. Oh, look at me. I love that Joe Swinson unironically argued about climate change and doing more to protect the planet and how we should stop flying so much. But she took a flight to get to where the debate was taking place.
They do that a lot, I've noticed. Like,
That's
I don't know
just
if you remember the Paris Accords when they
yes,
were meeting for that,
yeah.
or was it? Yeah, yeah, it was Paris Accords. And then somebody took a picture of all the fucking planes that all
hmm
these diplomats took
hmm
in.
It's like Prince Charles. He flew to the States to collect a environmentalist award. Like, hang on, what was your plane? What does your plane run on? Vegetable oil, perhaps? No.
No joke, I saw an Exxon Mobil fucking commercial
hmm
because I don't watch a lot of TV, but I didn't have my computer, set up while I was at my parents' house.
Right.
Um, and they had a commercial where they were like, "We are harvesting algae so that we can lead the charge in biofuel, so that
Mm.
it can run cars, ships, and planes. We are the way of the future, ExxonMobil." And I was like, uh, so, all right, yeah, let's just go with that. Let's just, yeah, we'll see, we'll see.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no. No. The debate ultimately was just a massive waste of Channel 4's time. It was a case that all the other people involved, the devolved administrations, Joe Swinson and Jeremy Corbyn, just argued on what they've done and then what money they're willing to throw at it, and each one trying to essentially do more than each other. Ultimately, nobody can outright say they're willing to throw as much money at something as Jeremy Corbyn, who's willing to ruin a country to do it. It's a case for him when someone says, I'm going to throw X number of billions, he says, hold my hemp, I'm going to outdo you. That's Corbyn for you. There was another debate, and this was more of a... This is a bit different. This was from representatives from each party. Again, I don't quite understand why the SNP's leader was there. Because yes, she's the leader of the SNP, but she's an MP of the Scottish Parliament, not the UK Parliament. It should have been Ian Blackford, the leader of the SNPs in the House of Commons, which renders her existence utterly laughable. Now, there are a number of things that were fact-checked and proven wrong. For example, the demand for nurses, that was definitely quite high. It's estimated we need over 350,000 by 2024, but current projections put it at, let's say, around just under 300,000. So we're off. We need to obviously work, and a lot of the reasons for that aren't because of retirement, but because of people not wanting to work in that field anymore. That needs to be addressed. The government wants to try and get 50,000 nurses, but they're not trying to get new nurses. They're getting people through apprenticeships and trying to get those who are trying to quit through disillusionment or pressure to not, to incentivize them sticking around. Labour solution: here's some money, girls, guys, have at it. But other things that cropped up included Laura Pidcock, who represented the Labour Party, who defended Jeremy Corbyn's middle-of-the-road position, claiming it to be the most parliamentarian thing to do, where he, if elected, will negotiate a brand new deal, put it before the people, but he will not take a position or argument with it. He will be neutral throughout, apparently. And Laura Pidcock, who represented the Labour Party, said this is a fantastic idea, a leader who's willing to let the people truly decide. However, no deal is not on the ballot. It's deal or remain. That's what's going to happen.
But
Much
isn't it the
sadness.
same shit that y'all have gone through for the last 2 years now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Her argument, by the way, Laura Pidcock's, was the country, while it did vote to leave, it didn't vote to be poorer. That is a quote from her, and I'm like, it's not up to me to not be poorer. It's up to me to make sure my bills are paid. It's up to you to make sure the country's not poorer. As long as I can get by, I don't care. Hello, Prospero. I really don't care at all. She's also claimed that she has claimed a number of other things during it. She talks about violent crime being on the rise. Now there are some stats that do support it, depending on certain types of crime, but not all. Oddly enough, things like homicides are down, so her generalised violent crime accusations were inaccurate. The only thing that really cemented her belief was the knife stuff, and when she argued about it, she was off. And she was called out, by the way, for the most part. Nicola Sturgeon made a pretty big claim that, because she wants to replace Trident. Do you know what Trident is, Trups?
Is it like Trident Medical? We have Trident Medical.
No, Trident is our nuclear deterrent. It's 4 submarines carrying nuclear warheads.
Ah, see, I didn't know where we went from the medical conversation.
So for her, she wants to get rid of it on a moral issue and a financial one, because she believes that we waste 200 billion on it, but that is not spent or saved all at once. It's a figure that estimates the total cost over the lifetime of the program of 30 years, which means it doesn't free up 200 billion like she thinks. It frees up a bit less every year.
Wait, hold on. Question.
Yes.
I know you just went through the financial part.
Yeah.
But in kind of expecting the next part, which is the moral part, what moral says, you know what? I see you've got guns pointed at me. I'm going to be the bigger man and put down my gun so that you can shoot me easier.
So you would think she would actually go into the moral. Well, I watched that debate. She really didn't. She just said moral reasons and gave none.
Well, obviously, it's not fair that we have a good system and they don't, right?
Right?
Well, I don't know. I don't consider that morals. I would say that's more ethics.
Here's another. They are slightly... It's pretty ridiculous, to be honest. And
it's bullshit regardless of where you stand on it.
I think Trident should stay. I'm quite happy with it, so we'll leave it. Next claim. Joe Swinson claimed that offshore wind is the cheapest electricity you can now create. And I'll continue the quote. Thanks to the Liberal Democrats supporting that technology when we ran the climate change department. Reality, offshore wind is currently more expensive than onshore wind, gas, or solar, but costs have been tumbling in price.
You know, yeah. I thought about that when she said it. She said, offshore wind is the best energy we can create.
Yeah.
Being syntactically and semantically really kind of a bitch, my brain goes, create? If you were harnessing water, like in a dam, for instance, sure, created. I don't know if I call letting a wind turbine go really creating, but I could see where she went with that. And also, it's a lot easier to shove something in the ground than it is to build something into the water and then harness, put that shit into the ground deep enough so it don't move. So, whatever.
Yeah. So we have 2 more policies fact-checked. One was that, and this comes from the Welsh Assembly, that Wales has the lowest wages across the United Kingdom. That's not right. Actually, it's Northern Ireland. Get good, scrub. The average was, no. Weekly average, no. For Wales, it's £446 a week. Scotland, £472. And the UK as a whole, £479. At Northern Ireland, £432. Hello, Lulu Bell. Hello, Denny. The final one I want to quickly address. Caroline Lucas of the Green Party claimed EU's freedom of movement is a popular policy when it's explained to voters. The reason for this is because she took a bit of a issue at the, and I'll air quote, assertion that most opinion polls show support for controls on immigration. So, the 2017 poll by YouGov anti-Brexit campaign group Best for Britain asked about a plan is effectively freedom of movement. Without calling it that, the right to travel, work, study or retire in Britain exchange, the results were 69% in favour and 13% against 19 who don't know. But when the same survey asked the same people how important reducing EU immigration was in Brexit negotiations, 70% said it was important in some way, 31 very important, and 24 fairly important. So Caroline Lucas is partially correct, but for her to be correct, the question has to be asked in a very specific way, if that makes any sense.
I mean,
Yeah,
keep going.
it's an odd one. There is one last one, actually, from the Brexit Party's chairman, Richard Tice, who said Brexit would make us wealthier. Well, under any form of Brexit, it is already known that we would not be as wealthy as we could be if we stayed in the EU. So this one's a tricky one, depending on how you perceive our wealth in the first place. If you base it on projections as membership, as being a member of the EU, you're wrong. If you base it on projections without considering the EU as an option, then, yeah, it's a tricky one. Right?
And that's also assuming, I'm guessing, the same trend going forward,
Yes.
regardless of anything that may or may not change with a Brexit.
That is also considered, I think. There are some impact assessments that need to be released actually on that, because we're kind of stuck, aren't we?
Well, it's hard to do any kind of projection when you could radically change your finances and your customs and your trading in a single month at any given point.
Yeah. Well, that debate, as far as I was concerned, was more productive in the sense that actually I got to hear some decent arguments, but the majority of what I heard was lies, which sucked, or nonsense in the case of Laura Pidcock's middle of the road positioning. I just thought, you know what? No, we can do better than that. But it's what you expect from a party that or any party that constantly rehashes the same arguments over and over again. So moving on.
Fun and exciting.
Moving on. Do you want to talk about Trump Balboa or Rocky Trumpboa?
Sure.
There you go, everyone.
So on Thanksgiving morning, Trump decided to release an image.
I put it on the
screen. On yeah, that one. He put it on his Twitter profile with no caption, zero context, and it was beautiful. And the media shit themselves. Absolutely shit themselves, because they were like, Trump is showing a doctored photo of himself. Oh, hold on. Doctored? Are you sure? I usually use the word edited, but you know, doctored apparently has the intention to deceive. I don't think anybody is actually trying to say that is exactly what Trump looks like. Regardless, the media basically went on a shitstorm for the entirety of Thanksgiving, probably because there really wasn't a whole lot to talk about. And eventually, what ended up happening was Hong Kong picked up the picture.
1 second.
Apparently,
let me just update that. There you go. As you were.
Yes, Lulu, I agree. The picture is funny yet disturbing all at the same time. But apparently Hong Kong has now picked up the picture of Trump's Rocky Balboa edit and is using it during rallies against the government. It's beautiful. I love it. And every single bit about this makes me happy.
I have to admit, seeing this and then waving the American flags, I saw some comments say, said things like, so when will Hong Kong become the 51st state? But I also saw comments that were like, Trump doesn't look anything like that. He looks like this fat guy over here. Look at him. Okay, fantastic. That was...
So yeah, that was the weird one. People tried to fact check it.
Yep.
Like, no. Everyone knows it's not real. In fact, we can tell you exactly where it's from.
Yeah. I just feel like that's probably, and I feel like I'm the wrong person to say this, when the joke just goes right over your head.
Yeah, pretty much. And and it really wasn't even like a well placed joke, or like a very deep, hard to grasp joke. It literally was just a funny picture that he happened to tweet, and that was it. That was it. That was literally all it was. And then after that, they just ran with it. And apparently, so much so that the Trump campaign had to literally say, "Yes, hi. We know um, that this is an edited picture, but no, this is not a doctored image of the president." And then the media goes, "They're denying doctoring the picture of Trump's head onto Rocky Balboa."
Okay, so before you continue with that, I have
Ah,
a very obvious question, and it comes from the origin of the picture. Is this related to the impeachment proceedings against
I
your
don't
president?
know.
Because it
I
feels
have
like
no
it.
idea.
It feels like it because I remember hearing just before this, in fact, that is it Nadler? Or yeah, he. I think it was him who had asked the president if he'd like to come to the impeachment proceedings in Congress or whatever. I thought maybe this was a reference to that, but I don't know.
It's possible, and we could extrapolate that, and then we could deduce that yes, that is the truth. But I don't know because he literally just posted this picture without context. Like there was no retweet, nothing. It was just there.
I did.
So I mean, you could it could be true, but
I
I don't know.
One of the main comments. Okay, so besides the others I mentioned earlier, also saw were people throwing the shade at the president as this is what normal people, this is what normal leaders of great nations do. They put memes on the internet. Um,
Well, okay, so that's kind of the biggest complaint of it is that it appears unpresidential, right?
who
You
cares?
know, um, but even though Joe Biden has literally signed somebody's meme, remember the sad Joe Biden meme?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a picture of somebody's signed meme image where it says, "He promised me we would be friends forever. Only got 8 years."
So we had a similar thing with Jeremy Corbyn signing an autograph on a piece of paper, and when the guy stood next to him for a photo, he unfolded it and said, "It says I am an anti-Semitic racist." Signed Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh no.
Meow. Yes. Meow.
Cat.
Yeah. Meow.
Meow meow. He's
Indeed.
talking more than we are. She's
She's quite
my
gobby.
apologies. I misgendered your cat.
It's fine. She doesn't give a shit. Meow. Yeah. Carry on.
But no, I don't know what this is about. I don't know if he had any intention, or maybe he just liked the picture.
I like the picture, to be
Either
fair. I think it's
way,
very funny.
I think it's actually well edited as well.
Yeah, the blend on it isn't too bad, and the color isn't too off either.
No, I
It's
mean it's pretty well done. Um,
I just
but I
yeah.
think then that people in Hong Kong used it is very, very funny because it makes me think that the people in Hong Kong are just memers at heart.
So beyond you telling me that, the only picture I had seen was actually of American flags, but I had not seen any article in the UK covering this because it's kind of been buried in that regard because we're trying to appease our Chinese friends and stand in solidarity with those we turned our backs on in Hong Kong.
Yeah, well, okay, so Trump actually came out officially against China's interference with Hong Kong,
I know.
and kind of in a like a weird, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be weird, but in comparison to other world
Hmm.
leaders, it is a bold, you know, it is a bold statement to make. Now, of course, he's never been shy from his disapproval of China in the past, but is this the only image of Hong Kongers holding the picture? I think I got it from The Hill, so maybe.
I haven't seen any others, to be fair. So chances are the copyright's all theirs. Prepare to be struck. Although they may not want to be seen claiming a video called, what's it called again? Rocky Trumpboa and that and sorry the some Alalala motherfucker.
So that was me. Um, I mean, it might be, but the Hill was the one who reported it, and they said that they found these things. So I mean, feel free to
Hmm.
look through it.
Yes, by all means do so. I will link it in the chat for those who are. Oh no, I haven't got it up. I'll go and get it. Carry on.
I mean, that's about it. I mean, I see where Christina makes that comment because it does look almost too good to be true. Um,
It might be shopped, yeah.
it might be, but I'm alright with it.
If it's not, it's very funny. If it is, brilliant.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about the less fun things.
Okay. You want me to talk about the thing?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it.
Fine. Okay. So over the weekend, as a number of you will be aware, there was an attack on London Bridge. A man had stabbed 2 people and wounded 3 others in what is now being called a terror-related attack. This has huge political ramifications because of what is currently going on in our country with regards to a general election, but also because of the person involved. The suspect, or well, the terrorist, his name is Usman Khan. He is a convicted terrorist who was shot dead by police officers. This man, he now becomes a rather interesting case for a number of reasons. First of all, because he was sentenced to, in I think it was 2012, for a role in an Al-Qaeda-inspired terror group attack where they plotted to bomb the London Stock Exchange and the US Embassy, and also to kill the then Mayor of London, Boris Johnson. Now, this man was sentenced to a lot. He was sentenced to a lot of years. So, what on earth was he doing on the streets? Right. So, for this, we have to go back a little, because there's some rather interesting bits of law involved. In 2005, the provisions of the 2003 Criminal Justice Act were introduced. It ruled that any prisoners serving a determinate sentence would serve half of their sentence in custody, be released at the halfway point, and remain on license for the other half of the sentence. Sorry, hang on. Yeah. For those serving an indeterminate prison sentence, the court would set a minimum term of imprisonment before the offender can become eligible to be considered for parole. I rather stupidly didn't put a picture of the guy on screen. Okay, so in 2010, Usman Khan is arrested for his role in the plot to kill. Okay, in 2012, he is handed an indeterminate sentence, originally, with a minimum of 8 years before he can be considered for parole. In 2012, Ken Clarke, as the Justice Secretary, abolished the IPP sentences, but those who are jailed under them can only be freed by a parole board, which is rather unfortunate. In 2013, the judges, including Justice Leveson, and his name is important, quashed the indeterminate ruling on Usman Khan, instead giving him a then determinate sentence of 16 years and advising the parole board to assess if he can be released. In 2018, Khan is released automatically from prison after serving half of his sentence. Hang on. So, he went to prison, I think where they got this from, to half of the 16, was that he was arrested in 2010 and for 2 years was held. So otherwise, he actually only served 6 years, but they counted it as 8, when in fact he hadn't done 8 years at all. He'd done 6 and was held for 2 while the investigation took place. But he was released automatically after serving half the sentence. However, even though the judge then, Justice Leveson that is, requested that the parole board assess if he can be released, then asked to assess the risk that he posed to the public. And then we come to the 29th of November, while still wearing a tag. Khan goes on a knife-killing rampage with killing 2 people before being shot dead. And the reason for it is because of what I'm now going to put on the screen. This letter. It played a huge role in his release. Where is it? I actually have to pull up the image for me so I can actually damn well read it. Nah, screw it. We'll do it from here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yes. So, as you are fully aware of my offence, which is a terrorist offence, it relates more to what I intended and the mindset at that time. Also, I can't read that word. Is it virus? You know what? I'm just going to go and get the image. It's easier. It's too small.
Fuck that. Hang on. As you are fully aware of my offense, which is a terrorism offense, it relates more to what I intended and the mindset of that time. Also, the views I carried.
Oh, views.
Which I realize
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. Spending some time to think of not according to Islam and its teachings. Doubt. I would be grateful if you would arrange some kind of course that I can do where I can properly learn Islam and its teachings. And I can prove I don't carry the extreme views which I might have carried before. I have been informed there are court causes like this.
Oof. Actually,
Like
that literally says I have been informed.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
Like the de-radicalization course. Oh, course, that's the word. Its handwriting's not great. Which is approved by the Home Office. I would like to do such a course so I can prove to the authorities and my family and society in general. Hang on a second. Sorry. Yeah. Scroll that up so you can all see it. Yeah. Society in general, I don't carry the view I had before my arrest, and also I can prove that at the time I was immature, and now I am much more mature and want to live my life as a good Muslim, and also a good citizen of Britain. So if you could arrange something for me and send me the details, yeah, that's what it says, this would be truly appreciated. This letter is considered quite important in this case because it kind of swung a lot of attention his way.
Ooh, I have something that should sway a lot of attention his way. He wanted to be a good citizen of Britain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't spell it right, though.
Yes, I know.
Tian? Britain?
Yeah.
Britain. Good goal. Good goal. Oh dear God.
So I do want to quickly address those that attacked the gentleman in question who took Usman down. He was, while the Queen praised emergency services and the brave individuals put up. Right, so the members of the public. One of them is actually a convicted murderer who was on a day release from prison into a 15-year sentence. He was out for a day on a 14th year, I believe, actually. Coming close to his release, in fact. He went to I believe, an employment convention of some kind. And he was involved. As was a Polish guy who grabbed a narwhal horn and another guy with a fire extinguisher.
Okay, I have a real question. Ready?
Ask away.
Where the fuck do you just grab a narwhal horn?
It was, I believe, in a bar. Let me see if I can find the picture. Let me see if I can find the picture. Hang on. I'll go and get a picture. It was very fun. Narwhal tusk and fire extinguisher. That's it. Where is it? There's got to be a picture. So the
thank God they didn't take a dessert spoon.
Yeah, right. Well, to be fair, if they used that, I'm pretty sure he could have just sliced the cunt's throat. There's no pictures.
Well, remember, the police have already, what was it? They had already detained somebody who had a dessert spoon?
Maybe this is it. Sorry.
By the way, if you don't know, both of him and I are both like coughing up a storm and slightly dead inside, so.
I'm recovering, thankfully, but there are a number of issues I've had recently with unfortunate coughs. I'm just going to go to YouTube and get the narwhal tusk. I'll just type that in and chances are I'm going to get the video, aren't I? Here we go. Caught on camera.
What the hell is a narwhal horn? A narwhal is a whale, and the tusk is literally a horn that extends from its cranium. It uses it to skewer shit.
Can I skip here?
Thank you, Bill Whitaker.
Right, here we
Very
go.
appropriate.
Right, yes. So I've got the video. I'll mute it. But yeah, this is the video of the incident. Man with a narwhal tusk, a fire extinguisher, and another guy
Wait, that's awesome.
literally just like, you want to fucking go? I love it.
That's
Literally.
a big fucking horn.
I'm gonna pause it there because I don't know if this video. Yeah, no, I don't want to risk them actually including the shot. So I'm gonna share it in the chat, and if you want to go and look at it,
I gotta point out though, you said it was a murderer who picked up a narwhal horn.
no. One of the guys that was involved in the takedown was the horn guy. Was actually was a Polish worker.
Well, good job on the Polish worker picking up a weapon he is proficient in. In D&D, he would have had a hard time.
Yeah, right. I'm.
Exotic proficiency.
Oh God. He passed his rolls. He's good. So interestingly, there are a number of videos of this guy Usman Khan back in like 2008, where he was saying outright how much he loved England, how much he loves the United Kingdom, he loves Britain, and how important his faith is, but also being a part of the UK. But then he was proven to have gone up against that and absolutely... Renovation, you need to look into the guy that the Islamists murdered. It wasn't a random attack and there was no coincidence. I'm not even going to say it was. I'm really not. I have seen the guy... There was a few pictures of the man that was taken. I did have the article. Oh, I must have closed the tab. That's irritating. Oh yeah, it was Jack Merritt. That's it, Jack Merritt. Oh, well, that's one of the guys. Hang on, who's the other one? No, Jack Merritt's the only one that's been named, isn't he? Maybe. I don't recall if the other one was named yet, but yes. So there are videos of this chav, because he sounds like a chav. Usman did, talking about how much he loves this country, and then 2 years later he's arrested because he's trying to kill and bomb places. Right. You really do love this country. Now, many people have already started, obviously, laying the blame. They've done it at Leveson, the justice, because of his involvement in lessening the sentence with a determinate sentence. Sadiq Khan, oddly enough, has come out and said, we need to bring back indeterminate sentences. And I kind of get the point. He's got a point in this case because terrorism's a rather tricky one to sentence, isn't it? When you don't have how do you truly define how long someone should stay in prison for when they've committed acts or attempted to commit acts of terrorism against a country?
Well, coming from an American,
I know what you're going to say.
We had a very well. Actually, this is actually more of a critique, to be honest with
please,
you.
Go on.
I somewhat disagree with indeterminate sentencing.
Go
on. Because it doesn't give the individual any sense of understanding. Let's say you're in jail for life.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of just make the best of your situation, or you give up. Kinda.
Do you mean life, or do you mean what's the all life one called? There's another name for that, isn't there? Natural life?
Sure. I mean for the rest of their natural life, they will be in prison.
Right, thank you. I even that was 25 years, because the 25-year one is...
Right, 25 years to life is a little different because that one has a chance of parole. Now, that would be for a less heinous offense, in my opinion.
Okay.
But what America did with terrorists is borderline war crime. That being Guantanamo.
Yes, that's a lovely place.
Where they weren't tried in the court of law. They were just brought to another country in which we owned land, which means it's technically under U.S. law and U.S. Constitution. But unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do in there because, well, what do you do? What do you do when someone has been so far out of, being able to live peacefully with your nation that they want nothing more than to kill as many people as possible. There's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, I guess you could, deport them out of the country and send them back to where they came from, but
Well, that's a
that
tricky one.
doesn't fix the problem,
No, it
does it?
doesn't.
It
It
kind of
doesn't at
just
all, does
it,
it?
it exacerbates it. It allows that person to then go back and
Yeah.
find out what they did wrong, so that somebody else can go succeed more, and we can't have that, right? So
No.
at that point, if they're actually found guilty of terrorism, they might as well just go for life, right?
I'm surprised they didn't with this one because of the plot and what they managed to find out. Because it was quite extensive and there were a lot of targets. There was a lot of... the intent was to bring London to its knees. And obviously blow up an embassy. But I think at that time, weren't you guys building your new one?
I think so.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what the point was attacking the old US embassy. You were in the process of building a new one anyway. With a moat as
Well,
last I checked.
it may have been to send a message,
Hey, America,
but
build a bigger moat.
yeah, well, that's another one. But the other thing, and my one critique to Denny is this is actually me attempting to be centrist. I'm a supporter of the death penalty. So if you really want to go down the centrist route,
He's just trolling. It's
we can
fine.
go there too.
He's just trolling. It's all good.
Oh, I know.
So
I like to play with the trolls. Remember?
there have been I know the arguments about the determinate and indeterminate sentences have cropped up. I know people have had to pounce on this and be careful. We're in the middle of an election cycle. So how Jeremy Corbyn handles it, a pacifist who believes in rehabilitation absolute, is quite tricky because public perception says you shouldn't be saying that, Jeremy. So he hasn't. Boris, he hasn't really pounced on it as much, but he has done something because of this, where he's agreed to go on a TV show tomorrow morning, the Andrew Marr Show, to be interviewed. Something which he had rejected BBC's offer multiple times because he doesn't want to be going anywhere near Andrew Neil, but he's not the host of the show. They're worried that the BBC will then put Andrew Neil there to try and get under his skin like he did Jeremy Corbyn. So there is a fallout that's going to be good at least. Free content on my part, depending on how Boris does. People have said that the blame, not just at Leveson, but also at David Gauke, the Justice Secretary, because he also believes in a bit more of a absolute reform, rehabilitation mentality. He has that mentality. I believe that some people can be rehabilitated, but how we define that person has to be ascertained individually. It cannot be, oh, you committed this type of crime. Let's see what we can do. No, let's look at the person and see whether they can be reformed.
The thing is, there are people that you can't change.
Yes.
Take it out of the realm of criminality, right?
Mm-hmm.
How likely is it that you can, for example, change Jeremy Corbyn to not be a socialist?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right, because after a certain point, your personality is pretty much set no matter what anyone tells you. Even if new information comes and you accept that as true, you may not change your opinion. America sees that a lot with a lot of boomers when it comes to race.
Yeah, so
or homosexuality.
That's actually a really good point about changing attitudes, because I showed the letter. The man had led you to believe he was willing to change. So there's an issue there when it comes to whether or not you can actually affect change within a person who then, while on tag, then went and committed a crime which may well have been premeditated based on early beliefs with regards to the targets. So it's quite a tricky one, because nobody with this guy in particular actually did that. They just released him because he met the minimum criteria for early parole.
Well, what this really should do is show you where your justice system falls short, because it basically shows how easy it is to game the system.
Yeah.
Oh, I just tell them I don't believe in it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they gonna do? Lie detector you?
That
would be terribly. That would be a terrible PR.
That's totally legitimate in a court. I would add that the additional person being blamed is Ken Clark, the then Justice Secretary for scrapping the IPP, which is called the Imprisonment for Public Protection Policy. Yeah, let's hope I said that correctly. Priti Patel is currently under a lot of fire because she's using it for political spin. Not great. I think for optics' sake, she should very quickly be quiet if she wants to get her party re-elected. She's obviously started blaming Labour for things that happened during their time, basically. And I've oversimplified that by a considerable amount. However, I'd rather not go into what she's been saying because some of those tweets have disappeared already.
There's a site that basically categorizes all people's tweets.
Right. That's true, actually. /dash, thank you for the donation. Is Mr. Moist a homosexual? Plus, what is your age? I am not. I am 100% straight. And my age is 33. I hope that answers...
so I was wrong. You were 9 years older than me.
Yeah, you fucker.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Prick.
Fine.
Prick.
Right.
Prick.
Fuck you.
When's your birthday?
Fucking June 95.
I'm sending you a shit.
Just one shit. Just give me 1 unit of shit. Is that in fucking kilograms, you fucking Brit?
I could do it in a printer. I could do that. Nice curly one. So, other people have pounced on this. Thanks, I'm a boomer. Nice. Yvette Cooper's pounced on this with a Twitter thread that went on quite a bit. Talking about the lack of security or prevention assessment done on Khan. The fact that policies like this were abolished. Control order to restrict location if dangerous, abolished. Monitoring arrangements not in place for Usman Khan beyond the tag. And weirdly, Yvette Cooper is absolutely correct. However, the one tweet that kind of got Priti in a bit of trouble was that she wrote, because legislation brought in by your government in 2008 meant that dangerous terrorists had to automatically be released after half of their jail term, Conservatives had to change the law in 2012 to end your automatic release policy, but Khan was convicted before this. Along with the fact that she continued to attack the Labour Party, this has already been proven to be incorrect because, as we now know, a judge had in fact went back and corrected it to make sure it was... Well, actually, no, this is where the mistake happened. By making a determinate sentence, that's where the screw-up happened. Although...
Question for you.
Go on.
Do you have a neck? What was the word? Do you basically have a punishment restriction? Like you can't, sentence somebody for 300 years, for instance.
We have people on whole life terms in prison.
Okay, because we have actually, based on certain charges that they have committed, if you give them the max sentence to, let's say, 20 counts of a 20-year sentence, that means that person will be in there for basically multiple lifetimes. Yeah.
That's not bad. We have had a few people on whole life terms. I think one was last year, actually. Or was it this year? It was a young lady, a really gobby, chav-looking girl. I think she got a whole life term because she premeditated and went on to do this horrific murder.
So
I know that
if you were to change like terrorism, like actual terrorism, not like not like hate terrorism, but like
this
international blowing up, bad things happening.
Yeah.
If you change that, max sentence time, and this guy stabbed 2 people and assaulted 3 others, you said?
Yeah.
So that's 2 murder plus 3 attempted murder in a terroristic fashion. We could theoretically say that this guy would get over 100 years in prison. So even if half of the life, right? Half of the sentence, rather, automatically he would probably come out as what? 74, I think, is what his age is, or 78.
Yeah.
Not as likely to do anything.
No,
right?
that's yeah.
So I guess you could still have the same system. You would just have to increase the rate that somebody is sentenced for, the time frame.
It's a good point, to be honest.
But the counter to that is, well, who decides when to apply the max sentence? And I guess obviously that would be a jury
Yeah,
and a judge. But we also know that the UK's justice system is a bit fucked up. See Mr. Robin
yeah.
son.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sorry, slash dot dash. Have I got a girlfriend? No. You got your first kid due soon. You're 35. I thought you already had kids. You used to donate in the past and say the kids will go hungry unless they're
Yeah, he
stepkids.
used to say the kids will go hungry.
They get Monster Munch. I remember this slash dot dash. Unless you're talking about like fictitious children or stepkids, of course. I'm actually kind of
Kids are overrated.
on the so I've been told. Um, with regards to the attack and the people involved, I'm half expecting soon to be their hit pieces on the people involved, the heroes in question, because that's kind of what we do in the UK. We like to take people that do good deeds and then absolutely destroy them. I don't like that, but it is what we do. So I'm kind of curious to see how that works out. It's a shame Usman
I
Khan is dead.
challenge you to speak up against it.
Right. I will gladly.
I
By
know,
the
I
way.
know, it's not something that you necessarily like to get involved with, but still.
With Usman Khan, I'm actually kind of disappointed he's not here because now he's just, no. We can't hold him to account. We can't point and tar and feather the cunt, and that's what I'd rather.
Yeah.
I'd like him to just go on a little walk through the East End of London. Just
So, we had the same thought process when the Boston bombing happened,
mhm.
and they were thinking of releasing the individual, but they didn't because the city of Boston really, really wanted them to release him.
Yeah,
The city of Boston had some choice words with fists that they
understandably
wanted
so.
to share. So to keep the guy alive, they kept him in detainment.
Oh yeah, isn't he on death row now?
I don't know if Boston allows for
Oh no,
death
I'm thinking of
penalty,
something.
but
No.
he's definitely in it for life, or at least for a human being's natural life is likely. But I don't think he's been sentenced to death. That's been several years now, so I may be incorrect. If Prospero's still here, I'm sure
I'm
that she
looking
could.
at the Boston Marathon bombing. His name's Zanev. 2013. He was sentenced to. Oh god, it's just disappeared off my screen. That's really irritating. Nice.
Goodbye.
No, I had it on. Oh, trial and sentencing. Here we are. Found guilty for the verdict. Sentenced to death.
Oh hell yeah, cool.
Zanev's lawyers appealed on the grounds that a lower court judge's refusal to move the case in another city, not traumatized by the bombings, deprived him of a fair trial. Yeah,
Okay, I give them credit for that.
I
That one's
can't.
probably true.
I can't pronounce the first name. It's Dzhokhar. I assume it's
Oh fuck that.
Zhoka.
Oh,
Zhoka Zanev.
Jokar.
Zhoka Zanev.
I
If
think
I
that's Jokar.
Yeah, if I've mispronounced that, I do apologise to nobody. Fuck
He's
you.
dead.
But yeah, I think I remember hearing about that sentence. So it's quite a lucky guess
Yeah.
as well.
That one's actually that one's a
Yeah,
little old for me.
yeah, it's 2013. Were you
That
even
was
born then?
fuck you. No, but I just legally was allowed to get a rifle in my hands to fight for my country about then.
Nice. So, as an update to sort of what's been going on with this case, officers have done searches in Stafford where Khan lived and in Stoke-on-Trent. Because he lived at an approved premises in Stafford, so he had to be specifically there. However, people are also appealing to people who attended the conference that's called Learning Together, which is where that, by the way, that murderer was, the one I told you about, that was also helping restrain. I bet that does well
Yeah.
for that guy's parole, even though he did something pretty horrific himself 14 years ago, sorry. I have to admit, him actually acting in that way kind of Doesn't mellow me to him, but makes me think he has reformed enough to actually do a good thing. Which,
Murder's a really weird one for me
yeah, it's a strange one.
because murder usually has a designated target, which usually has some kind of
Oh,
personal beef.
this guy did have a target, and a very well known, not well known, but the case was quite, yeah, no, it was pretty messed up. He's lucky he only got 15
But
years.
moreover, like I guess the point that I was getting at is it's not it's not without cause, and anybody and
Yep.
everybody, is not the target, and that's where I'm a little soured on those.
Hmm.
For example, I think vehicular manslaughter is actually worse than a single murder,
Right.
because when somebody goes on a drunken rampage and indiscriminately can kill multiple people, I think that they are worse than the person who feels in their own mind, right or wrong, to do something bad to a person who had done them wrong. I don't know. I feel like the damage is much more. It could be much more widespread. But then the other argument is, for murder, you have to think about this for quite some time for it to be murder.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like, because the thing that I struggle with is victims versus possible victims.
yes, of course.
So it's almost like, well, you intended to kill 12, but you only managed to kill two. Um, you know, Not as bad. But I don't think they should get like an award like you didn't do well. um,
Better luck
I don't
next
know.
time.
I'm glad I'm not the one in charge of making these laws or handling these judgments, because I could run it through with all the different ways in my head,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I could ever be the a judge.
No, I can agree with that. I don't want. I never wanted to be a judge. I wanted to be a doctor. So for me, it's I
Yeah.
never wanted to judge people or sit. And ironically, said for a guy who has a judge outfit,
Has a judge outfit,
I have
yeah,
the
and
judge
I
helmet
have
just above me. In
I
fact,
have an Inquisition outfit. So I mean, let's be honest.
yeah. I mean, I didn't. I wanted to help people. That was always what I wanted to do, and that's what I try and do in videos a little bit, a little.
I feel that. I feel that on a
But
personal note. So I
uh,
mean, I totally get it. Weird segue for the chat. The
I'll be honest.
57 people watching.
It's a nice way to deviate from a rather dark subject before we finish, anyway. Because I don't want to leave on a bum note. I actually on a happier note for those who are interested. For patrons, and this isn't something that many actually know about, because it's not actually on my Patreon page; it's on my Discord server. Those who have been patrons for more than 6 months are eligible to receive patron badges. Trups is actually a patron, and he's received his, along with a number of others who have received them with letters as well. I'm pretty sure Prospero qualifies, but she never gave me because I don't think she checks the patron feed. Never gave me an address to send her respective badges, but there are others who haven't either, so I'm not offended.
Yes, I have
Um,
my badge right here.
yeah, but you also got a skeptic clone badge, didn't you?
I did, and it's actually much thinner too.
Yeah, Skog made that. He
And then
did.
I also got the Pay Pig
Yeah,
badge.
so you're one of a very few number of people who got that, because I printed about 30 of those, but only 4 of them were any good, and they were done with a different bronze filament. Because you notice it's not the same color as the moist badge. And so because they're different bronzes, and the ones that I printed in bulk on the Paypig ones were in the same bronze as the moist badge, and they had too many burrs. It came, every single one came up wrong, and I didn't realize, because I was trying to print as many as
Unfortunate.
possible. Yeah, so I thought it was quite interesting. So I've sent out all the badges I've got so far. But Prospero, if you do want your patron badges, bronze and silver, I believe actually, by all means DM me, let me know, and I will get that sorted out for you by the end of this month. By the way, since we're coming to the end, is there anything you would like to shill?
So good news, for all those who actually are still subscribed to me. While I was gone and during the long hiatus, I have lost a grand total of 8 subs. Go me. Um,
Congrats.
yeah, thanks. But I'm no longer on second shift. I no longer am working overtime, which means I get to start making videos again. Fuck yeah. So I'm gonna start doing that next week.
Yay. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
If you're not already and you like these streams, please go to his channel. It is linked in the description. He does make good content. I'm in a video on that channel as well.
Yes, you are.
Quite a popular video as well.
Oh yeah, one of my most popular ones, the one
Yes.
without me in it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I fucking messaged him. I was like, "Look at this shit, Meg. What the fuck?"
He's my 5th channel.
Yeah, yes. Surprise, everyone! I've
I'm gonna have that.
actually
I'll get that
given all of my
monetized.
non-Christian ad revenue to him.
I'll get that monetized by the end of this month. Don't you worry. And this month ends in a few hours.
I was gonna say, I don't know about that, buddy.
Don't you worry about that. Someone just subscribed to you. Last one.
Oh, did it ding on the?
Yeah. Edward Short, Little E's on my server, just subscribed to you.
Hey, thanks, Ed. I gotta fix that.
He drew the swan picture.
I
Yeah.
noticed the ES and I didn't know who the fuck
That's him.
it was.
That's him.
Thanks, Ed.
Good job. As far as I go, I am working. I will be tomorrow away from computer working, and then when I come back, I am going to work tirelessly on this blasted Nico video. My intention is to have it out on December 1st. There are obvious reasons for it, because if it stays monetized, CPM is the best in December. Cha-ching. But also because I want the subject dead so I can do other things without this annoying pressure on my shoulders. I have one segment left to complete. I will get it done. And you got another subscriber, JT.
Fuck yeah, I'll get those subs back in no time.
2 down,
Thanks to
6
Meg.
to go. 2 down, 6 to go.
Fuck yeah. No, please do actually just watch the videos too.
That'll do me a huge solid.
Meg telling you to.
Yeah, no, do that. Put it on. Go to uploads and just press play all. So yeah, I'm going to be working on that. There'll be no stream on Twitch tomorrow. I'm going to work on this video. It has to be done. So I've got all these tabs open of all these poxy videos I need to go through. So yeah, thank you all for joining. We'll be back on Friday, hopefully next week. Yeah, that'll be nice. I hope you like the art, and yeah, I think we're done here. We're done here, Trups?
Yes, we are. Say goodnight, Meg.
You motherfucker. Good night, Meg.